Sech the Menochos daf Chof Amud Aleph. We're starting from Maskif Law, the second line from the bottom of Yutes Amud Beis. We learned anywhere where the Torah repeats itself is le'akiv. Maskif Law Avuna is the kasha a melach. We find by salt that we place on the mincha loy tanabekra. The Torah didn't repeat itself twice, and ma'akvei. Nevertheless, if you don't bring melech, it's ma'akiv. The Tanya that we learned in the Rice, it says in the Torah, bris melech olam, that the bris of the bond of the covenant of salt is for everlasting. And from here we learn out shetahei bris hamru melech, that the bris is forever by salt, meaning that it has to always be by every carbon. So we learn out from here that if he didn't salt the covenant, it will be possible. Different Rabbi Yehuda, those are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon said, we learn out from a different Rasha. Never come bris melech olam even never. How long? And by the Maimed HaKahuna that was given to Pinchas and his children b'matana, there it says Brus Kahunas Oilam, but it says the Lashon Bris there as well. Shem Sheish Ev Shel Kabanos B'lei Kahuna, just like by the Kahunas, we said it's impossible for Kabanos to be sacrificed without Kayanim. Kach Yev Shel Kabanos to be sacrificed B'lei Melech. But nevertheless, whether it's Rabbi Yehuda or Rabbi Shimon's Limud, Melech is ma'akiv the hasha of the mincha, even though the Torah didn't say it twice. So we have a stira to the words of Rav who says that it's only ma'akiv if the Torah repeats it a second time. After you want to have Rav Yosef, Rav Ketanu Yidam Sviralei. Rav holds like our Tana of our Mishnah Dama that says Loi Malach, if he didn't salt the cup mincha, it's going to be kosher. Meaning the Tana of Mishnah argues with Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon and says that the melicha of Menochos is not ma'akif if you didn't do melicha, being that it wasn't learned twice. Abaya said back to Rabbi Yisrael, if so, that if the kavanah of the Mishnah is kipshuta, that a mincha that was sacrificed without salt, it's kosher. So when the Mishnah said lo yotzak, if he didn't pour the oil on the mincha, it's kosher. Nami say lo yotzak, that he didn't pour at all. And we know it's not true. We know that Yitzik Sashaman is, if he doesn't do the Yitzik Sashaman, it is Me'akiv. Ella only forcibly have to say that Lo Yotzik Koyin Elazar. The Pshat was there, not that he didn't do Yitzik at all. Of course, if he doesn't do Yitzik at all, it's going to be Me'akiv. The Pshat was there. If the Koyin didn't do Yitzik, only Azar did it, it's still going to be kosher. Hachanami, so too. Let's learn Pshat. When it says Lo Malach, it means Lo Malach Koyin Elazar, that the Koyin didn't do it, only Azar. But if he doesn't do Malich at all, it's not going to be possible. It's going to be Ma'akiv. So we don't find a Tana that says Malich Mincha is not Ma'akiv. We can learn the Pshat of that Tana was that it wasn't done by a Koyin, it was done by a Zar. Then again, the Malicha, to say the Malicha is going to be kosher. Amalei, Rav Yosef said that's not the Pshat. Chisal al Daitach, Shehizar Karol L'Gabei HaMizbeach. How could you even think that a zar should be permitted to salt the mincha? It's feish us in the Torah. Where do we see that? It says by the Leviim that they were given their missions. It says ach al klei kodesh el hamizbeich lo yikavu v'koshken yisraelim, that they cannot be makif. So how could you even think of a non-kohen being partaking in the hakrava with the melicha? So the kavanah of the Mishnah wasn't to be machshir. That Tana of that Mishnah wasn't referring to a zar that did the melicha. Rather, it's talking about it wasn't salted at all. And nevertheless, this Tana says it's going to be kosher. If you want another answer, I could say since by melicha kavanah it says the lashon bris. It's as if the Torah repeated it a second time by saying the word bris. Even though it wasn't a befedish repetition, nevertheless, the word bris, makes it as if it was repeated. So the Gemara, didn't you're saying the Torah didn't repeat the word about melach? It says befedish, and that's one pasuk, and it says so you see the Torah repeats it a couple of times about salting the Menochos. And for the Gemara, it's not considered as repeating. Those times that are repeated is Likiditanya. It's to teach us different dinim. Like we learned Rabbi say, kol kaven b'melach timlav, without the word minchascha. Shemei ani, I would have said afilu eitzim, even eitzim that are burned on his mizbeach needs to have salt. The dam and the blood that's sprayed on the mizbeach, I would have said also it needs malicha. Sheiniko carbon, because they're both called carbon. Eitzim is called carbon nidvas eitzim. Like it says that we'll find the pasuk is going to be said later on in the Gemara about Geidolas. Hipalnu al kurban eitzim. It says befedish the lashon carbon eitzim and dam. Dam is by every carbon that is miskab b'klishas b'shasas shchita, and it's placed on the mizbeach. So it's such a ikizdik part of the Aveda, so it's considered as the carbon. Talmud Lema, that's why it says Allah Mincha Kalema Minchas to teach us that the Chiva of Melicha is only by Kabbanis, which are similar to Mincha. Ma Mincha Miyuched Shachin Bayim Chayva Allah. Just like Mincha, it's burnt on the Mizbeach B'Teres Chayva with other things, meaning in order to burn the Kaimetz, you have to bring with it eitzim, avkol, dvarim achirim bayim chayvala. So to any carbon that it has other things that come with it onto the mizbeach is considered as a carbon. Any carbon that needs like eitzim to burn it needs malicha. Mashenkin eitzim itself or dam, which you don't need any other things. There are no other additional things that come with the dam or the eitzim. So for that you don't need salting. Maybe I'll dashen that mincha is special because it's materis. The kemetz is mater, the shiari mincha for the ganim. Avkol shemater, so too anything that is mater should need malicha, should need salting. Avi adam, I would include dam because dam is matter, it's matter, the murim, the fats for the burning on the mizbeach, and the meat to be eaten, the meat of the carbon to be eaten by either by the balabatim or by the kahanim. Talmud comes the pasuk and teaches us the loisaj v'smelch me'am minchasacha. So there it says the third time Melech to teach us that the iser is only by a mincha, but not. You don't need the chiva. Salting is not applicable by dam. I would have thought the whole mincha, even the shiarim needs salt. To teach us that the carbon of the mincha to melech mincha kulatul melech. Only the kemitza part that you place on the mizbeach needs the melech, and not the rest, not the shiraim. The ainly ella shakimis. I only know about the kmitza part of the mincha needs salt. How do I know the levena part also? How do I know to include the levena that needs that comes together with the mincha that it needs malicha? Since it comes together with the mincha, the one keli with the kmitza and the kli shades in order to burn it. That's why it needs melicha. How do we know levena that comes without a mincha? Levena above v'zicha, and the levena that comes in those spoons that are in front of the lechem hapanim, v'hakateres, minchas kayanim, and the minchas kayanim, minchas kayim Mashiach. That's the chaviti hakayin that was brought one in the morning, one in the afternoon. The minchas nesachim and the mincha of libations, emuri chatos. Ve'emuri Asham, ve'emuri Kachim Kachim, ve'emuri Kachim Kalim, ve'evari Oila ve'eila Saiv. How do we know all these that come on the Mizbeach, which are completely burnt on the Mizbeach? Menayim, how do we know that all these karbanos that are completely burnt need salt? Talmud Lema, that's why the pasuk comes and says, I'll call Kabancha Tak Melech to teach us all kinds of karbanos that we had above mentioned need salt. Being that all these above mentioned minchas don't have any kmitza. That's why we needed a pasuk to teach us, I'll call Kabancha, to tell you that you need by all the above mentioned ones salt. So it's not extra. Those those times that it says the repetition of Melech. Amamar, Ainli, Ela Kemetz, only Kemetz Mincha to Melech. How do you know Levaina? She came by Ima because the Kli Echad. Because Levaina comes in the same one Kli Sharis with the Kmitza. But you said already before that which ones need the melicha, all those things that have to have something else with it, and levena, and also all the other ones that were mentioned in the Hemshech of the Braisa need eitzim on the mizbeach together with the mincha, or the levena needs to, and the keteris also needs eitzim. So why did the Braisa need other makedas? What was the purpose of repeating Hakol Kaman Chatak Melech to include all these? I mean, we would have known it anyway because we said before, any carbon that needs eitzim with it automatically needs melicha. This is what the Braisa meant in the last part. What we learn out? How do we learn out from the word mincha that all the enumerated things need salt? Because they also come as a chayv, like a mincha, ema say, maybe we'll say the word carbon in the first part of the pasuk, b'chol carbon minchascha, that's a klal, because it's including all carbon. Umincha, then it says the word umincha, which is a prat. So whenever you have a klal of prat, ein b'chal, elamasha b'frat. So according to this, we should have concluded that mincha only a mincha needs salt, al midach nelay. But anything else doesn't. That's what the Braisa is. Aside from mincha, needs melicha. That was the kavanah of the kasha from the word mincha. Maybe we should dash in klal prat that only mincha. In order to answer that, hadama, the Torah came and in the Hemshech of the pasuk it says hakol kabancha chas v'chalal, came the Torah and said another klal, and now we fall into the Mida of klal prat to klal. Yitadon elokein prat. You only marba anything that's similar to the prat. Ma prat mefredesh. Just like the prat is explicitly in the pasuk shachenim boyin chayvelav, that it needs other things with it, meaning like the eitzim to burn the mincha. Have kol shadvarim achenim boyin chayvelav. So too, all the other menachos and kabbanis that we enumerate in the Braisa are included in the Chayvus HaMelicha because they are considered as a carbon because they need something with it to burn. That's what we learned out from the Klal and Prat and Klal. That's the similarity to Mincha. So the Gemara is going to ask on Defnaida, you said, Achin the Bayin, Chayvela, you mind you. What are the other things that you're saying that comes with the mincha that makes it mechuyev and melicha? Eitzim, that's the other things. Avkol eitzim, says the Gemara, also any carbon that's needed that come with wood, like for its burning, needs melicha. So Pizah, the Braisa excludes blood and wood from the chiyuv melicha because these two do not need additional wood to burn on the mizbeach. So why is the Braisa magda only the eitzim as the varim habayim chayvala? Ema say levaina, which comes with the mincha, even though itself has a chshivs of a carbon. V'loidak eitzim shein lahem chshivs shall come b'fnei atzman v'hem tvein lemincha. Not only eitzim is excluded. V'aisi bring into this klal of the chivs hamelicha es adam shal azvachim deikenesachim, that they have nisachim that come out of the mizbeach as a chayv because of the zrika of the dam, which is the ikar of the carbon. They come with nisachim. Levaina comes with the mincha. Levaina comes with the mincha, and it's not just the eitzim that come with the mincha. Levaina comes with the mincha. Zag the Gemara nisachim b'hadei hamurim hu dasu. So the Gemara, just like by the mincha it comes with the levaina is the tafel to it. So too you have the dam The dam ema again. Ema we said achim the body chayv. So we said levaina haba ima mincha is that's what makes the mincha require salt. So the icy dam that's with the zachem the ik and the sachem that the sachem come out of the mizbeach because of the ziksa dam, which is the ik of the carbon. And the one in the sachem had the emudim also. The sachem is brought with the emudim. Meaning the chayv is because the reason why you bring in the sachim is because of the himudim, not because of the dam. My timer, what's the reason that the chayv is because that the sachim is coming because of the himudim? Because the himudim is nachsham kachila, is considered as achila of the consuming of the carbon on the mizbeach. Unesachim say ushtia and nesachim should be considered like the drinking. Mustama that the will of Hashem is to combine drinking with the achila, like the chshivas of every suda. And since the nesachim are not coming as a chiv to the dam, so you can't include dam that should have a chiv of melicha. So you just explained that that's why it's connected with the achila, with the emudim. But you want another Rama, say just the opposite. It's more mistaber that the dam is because of the nesachim, because the dam is what is kapara, is what brings the kapara. That's the kapara of the carbon. But nesachim is the simcha that comes that after you were mechuper. Now you drink is because the dam caused that nesachim should come because of it. Because after the kapara you drink out of simcha. But to a mincha that's goyim to levaina, just like a mincha causes the levaina to come on the mizbeach. Here the dam is causing that the nesachim should come on the mizbeach, and therefore should require salt. The reason why we don't learn out dam from mincha. And dam for mincha that the levaina comes to as a chayv to the mincha. Levaina is coming because of the mincha and the dam, and we should say the nesachim is coming because of the dam. Levaina ba'ima b'kliyachad. Levaina, the spices come with the mincha in one vessel. Nesachim ba'im with the dam b'kliyachad. Nesachim don't come together with the dam in one vessel. Abenagela eitzim that they burn on it the kabbanis of the mizbeach. And the dinyan between mincha and the other kabbanis, just like the eitzim are machshe the mincha to be able to fulfill the chiyuv haktorah, hachim miskasha behu kolu kabbanis. So too the machshe all other kabbanis to be able to do the chiyuv of burning. Since these kabbanis are similar in this point to mincha, so they too should need melicha like it. Just like the mincha needs the eitzim, so too, and the eitzim are the ones that are miskasher, meaning are machshir the mincha to be able to fulfill the chiyuv haktorah. So too, by all kabbanis, you should learn out that they need melicha the same way. So that's a good limit because all of them are used the wood to be mashir. Mashir, but the dam doesn't come in the same keli as the mincha, or and the same thing as the carbon. The dam and the sachem don't come in the same vessel like by the levaina and the mincha. Let us say ma'aprat mefurish, just like mincha is that other things are required to come with the mincha. And in addition, since the burning of the kaimets is mated, the shiraim of the mincha for the kahanim to eat, afkol shachin bayim, so too, anything similar to that, anything that is needed, something required with it, and in addition, umateres, and it's mater, umayni, and what is that? Levaina. That had levaina habab b'vazich, the spice that come in the 2 spoons in front of the lechem hapanim, the sharya lechem, which is matir the lechem hapanim, to be eaten, and it also requires the wood to burn the mezichin. But one anything else that doesn't have these two components, these two sides, meaning side that it's a mat and side that it requires something else with it, loy shouldn't need melicha. So the Gemara shlugs that up. The answer for this that the pasuk require loy sash malu the pasuk. It says in order to teach us that the iser of melech is dafke mal min chaska v'lein ma'al domecha. Miklau, we can be medayik the hanach kol asma chatzad that all the other ones, meaning all the other kabbanas, are included to melicha just by the mere fact that it has something that is matter, that it's a matter like it. And if the comparison to mincha is that it needs both sides, then the dam would have been mismaid b'meila from without having an additional miyut, because it's only compared on one side that the dam is matir, but it's not. It doesn't require something else with it. So why would I need a special pasuk to be memayed? Obviously, even b'chat sad, even just the fact that it's matir, just like a mincha, I would have said it needs melicha. That's why I needed a pasuk to be memayed. If I needed both, that it's matir and it needs something, another component coming with it in order to require melicha, then dam doesn't have another tzad, doesn't have the wood coming with it. So therefore, I would have already known that it doesn't need melicha. From this, that we needed a pasuk, zarayah, that even one tzad, that it's similar, makes it require melicha. Require melicha. We learned in the Brais, the Teda, at Vitulay Sam's Malach, a second time, that the Easter of Melach is not named by Dam, maybe I should dashen that the pasuk is coming to tell us that the limbs of Ha'ela and the fats of the kabbanis don't need melicha. How do you know he's coming to exclude after the dam? The svara to be mabe ivarim to the chayva melicha, is more reasonable than dam. Shekaim, because we find more of a comparison of the kemitz mincha to the evarim than to dam, because to the evarim we find 6 similarities. Aleph, just like the mincha, it needs wood, so too the Haktorah of the evarim needs wood. 2, ala ishim, they're burnt on the fire, k'meisa, just like the mincha. 3, bachutz, it's burned outside the heichel k'meisa, like the mincha. 4, the noisa k'meisa, that has the din noisa, like the mincha. 5, the evarim achayim mishum tuma k'meisa, just like the mincha. 6, the chayim mishum me'ila, if you have a no k'meisa, just like the mincha. But dam is not similar to a mincha in any of these mentioned ways. So since Klemus has more of a similarity to Evarim, that's why I would include Evarim. Like you want to add but just the opposite. Dam the Tama should have been included to the Chayva Melicha because of its similarity to Mincha. Shekein Adam Mata Gameis, because the Dam is Mata just like by Mincha. And it becomes possible once Shkia comes in. Mashenka by Evarim, with number one, they're not matirim, and they're still kosher till Alois on the Mizbeach through the night. So why did you choose Dafke Evarim? And you want to Hanach Nefishim, the side of Evarim to Mincha, it has much more things in common than the dam to mincha. The Tana had said earlier, without the word minchascha, I'd learn out, I would have concluded, I feel eitzim, even the eitzim that are burned on the Mizbeach require salt. The dam, and the dam that's spilled on the is sprayed on the Mizbeach needs salt. Sheiniku carbon, because they're called carbon. And it says, v'chol carbon b'melech. Man shamat le the Omar, who's the Tana that said that eitzim is called carbon? It's Rabbi Rebbe, it's Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, like we'll see right away. But that's Rabbi Mebaye Bo Melech. And Mehecher, Rebbe is the Tana of the Brais that says that eitzim taka need salt. The time that we learned in the Braisa, it says in the Torah, "V'nefesh kisaka kam min kol Hashem karban min chamalam shenisnat v'eitzim." It comes to tell us that you burn, otherwise, what is carbon? How many eitzim do you need in such a carbon? It says, in 2 logs. So it says in another place that eitzim are called carbon. It says the geirolas fell on the carbon of the eitzim. This pasuk is talking about by this darin that they set up, the Eila Bavel had set up, they were makabel on themselves, to make sure that there should be enough logs in the Beis Hamikdash for the need of the Beis Hamikdash at the time when they will build it. In order to show that they call it, and you see it's called carbon. Rabbi holds his taka carbon mincha, tune in the melech. You need salt on those logs. You grind it, and you make you need salt, the tuna and nagash, and you also have to bring it to the southern western corner. Rava said, eitzim tuna kmitza. The eitzim also need a fistful taken off. You grind it and you take a fistful. Papa said, eitzim tzichem eitzim. According to the AB, eitzim. Why is it called? Why isn't the get of a carbon? Because it needs other eitzim to burn on it, like any carbon. So it's mefurish from the Braisa that according to Rabbi, eitzim is considered as a complete carbon, and because of that, it needs malicha. So how does it come out? Our Braisa that learn that our Braisa even in the sheets of Rabbi say that, and you said we learn out exclusion that eitzim does not need malicha. We learned out from there. But you want to sum the kan, you have to take out from the nuskha of the Braisa the word eitzim from the chivus of malicha, and meaning that it's not exclusive. Faket, it does need malicha, and rak dam ulay eitzim. It's only dam doesn't need malicha, but eitzim does. But if so, if eitzim also needs malicha, what is the word mincha? Remember, we learned 2 things: klal uprat and klal, and we learned carbon al minchascha v'lo al damecha. What is he coming to exclude? Ilam yutidam. If he's coming to exclude dam, we already learned out the exclusion of dam al minchascha. Nafka. We learned out from al minchascha. So, so what is the other pasuk coming to teach us? Or you want to call it the klal prat? What is it coming to teach us? It says you want to apik, you have to exclude, take out from the nuskha of the Braisa the word eitzim, va'ayil nesachim, and in its place put nesachim, meaning the Braisa is excluding from the chayvus hamalicha dam and also nesachim, but not dam and eitzim. The time that we learned in the Braisa, aval hayayim va'adam va'eitzim va'akteris ain't te'unim melech, that blood and nesachim and wine do not need salt before it's akrava.